Ladies and gentlemen, we're back. It's Brett. We are down here in the Shooter Shack, and I have 5 picks for you for this week. If you've been following in the last couple days, I've been posting some live videos. I've been giving you picks. I've been picking them at 71%. There's no question in my mind that I can help you make some money. Christmas is coming up. First thing you're thinking, why the hell is this guy wearing a Carolina Panthers hat and a Carolina Panthers jersey? Well, let me tell you why. Sunday afternoon, we have ourselves a huge matchup in the NFC South. We have the Carolina Panthers at 1-4 facing off against Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints at 1-3. So many of us, if you're a gambler, if you're a suicide pool guy, if you're just a fantasy guy, everybody has taken a hit on the Carolina Panthers this year, and I can guarantee it. And if you're telling me you haven't, you're full of it, because everybody has. The best handicappers in the world have picked Carolina 3 or 4 times this year and have came out of the bottom end. It's not the way you want to go. You got to turn it around. So this is basically what I'm going to tell you. First things first, this is about as close to as do or die as you're going to get if you're a Carolina Panthers player, fan, coach, whoever the hell you are. You're 1-4, you're playing in a division where the Buccaneers and the Falcons are playing some good football. You don't win this game this weekend, guess what, pal? You're going for a fucking walk. You're heading to the golf course a little early this summer, and that's not the one you want. So first things first, we got Cam Newton back in the lineup. Got cranked a couple times in the old noggin, a little bit of an eggshell head, little soft, little yokey. Not necessarily the one you want with the concussion, but he's the one you got. And he's back this week. No more Anderson throwing the ball away to whoever the hell's fucking open. It could be his team, could be the other team. But right now, the New Orleans Saints defense, we all know, is awful. They can't stop the run. They can't stop the pass. We got Cam Newton back in the lineup. We got veteran running back for the Carolina Panthers, Jonathan Stewart, back in the lineup this Sunday. Going to get a lot of touches. I predict him to get 65 to 100 yards. They're going to be able to pound the ball on the ground and go back to the air. The biggest thing is the protection for Cam Newton. If you're going to call yourself Superman and you want to be heroic and you want to open up your chest like this every time you score a touchdown, you better get the hell out of the phone booth, take the glasses off, and get to business. Lucky for you, you're playing the New Orleans Saints. And there's no question in my mind, the Carolina Panthers cover the 3-point spread, go to the bank, grab yourself a line of credit, grab yourself a loan. I don't care what you're going to do. Whatever you got to do, you take the Panthers, you take them at -3, and you put the goddamn house on it. You heard it here first. That's the one you want. Teabag them, and we're out of here. The next game that we're going to talk about, a lot of people are going to criticize me for this. And a lot of people criticized me last week for taking the Lions, taking the Cowboys, taking the Titans, taking the Colts. And you know what? I really don't give a shit. I pick it 71%. Better than any pro handicapper in North America right now. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars at 1-3 against the Chicago Bears at 1-4. First things first, Jay Cutler, guess what? The guy's got a sore thumb, nagging injury, making $18 million a year to sit on the sidelines. So guess what? Who's going to get the ball for the Bears? Brian Hoyer. I don't even know who he plays for anymore. Does he play for the Patriots? Does he play for the Cardinals? Does he play for the Browns? Does he play for the CFL? The XFL? I don't know where the guy plays, but all I know is the guy doesn't win, and the guy bicks his head. Maybe grow the hair out, try something different. Long story short, you're going against a big, bad Blake Bortles third-year quarterback. Blake Bortles is the one you want. They're coming off a bye week. 2 weeks ago, they were in their home away from home across the pond in London, England. They grabbed their first win of the season. There was a lot of hype about the Jags this year with some off-season signings and a young team coming back. And at 1-3, they're not happy with that. But I'm telling you right now, they're going to be a well-rested team. They're playing behind a quarterback that can actually play the game, not a journeyman like Brian Hoyer, who's fighting the truth. You heard me, Brian. You're fighting it. And at the end of the day, the Jags are the one you want. You can get them at +3. There's nothing wrong with that. Do I think the Jags win the game? I do. But when you get the free 3 points, you go ahead, you reach up and you snag them, you pull them in tight, and you take it. Jacksonville Jaguars +3, the one you gotta have. Lock it in. Up next, we have the New England Patriots facing off against the Cincinnati Bengals. We got the Pats at 4-1. We got the Bengals at 2-3. There's a couple things in this game that kind of stand out to me. And obviously, number one is Tom Brady. I talked about it last week on the live feed. I told you after Deflategate, he was coming back hot. This guy is a winner. This guy is arguably the best quarterback that's ever played the game. He gets the job done. All right? We're not talking Brian Hoyers here. We're talking Tom Brady. Not only did he go 28 for 40 with 406 yards, 3 touchdowns last week against the Cleveland Browns, but I'm telling you, he is 48-1 versus AFC teams at home since 2007. So sit back, let that simmer in your brain for a second like a couple eggs on the goddamn stove. Think about it. 48-1 versus AFC teams at home since 2007. All right? The Bengals are coming off a tough loss against the Dallas Cowboys. Nobody respects the boys. No one respects Mr. Jones. No one respects Tony Romo, Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott, but they got the job done and beat the Bengals. Another loss for the Bengals. They're staring down the barrel of a long offseason, and it's going to happen. If you're a suicide guy, if you're still alive in your suicide pools, New England, if you still have them available, take them. They will win this game. They are 6-0 in the last 6 against Cincy, and they are 5-1-1 against the spread. I like New England to win this game, no problem. I think it might be a little bit closer than the 8.5 to 9.5 point spread. Take them on the money line, throw your chips in the pot, push them all in, and you got yourself a victory. Patriots on the money line. That's the one you got to have. All right, guys, we're sitting here and we're thinking, do we have another snoozer, a yawner? A game that you're looking at and you're thinking, as a gambler, I don't want to touch this goddamn game. You got the Indianapolis Colts at 2-3 against the Houston Texans at 3-2. This is an NFC South divisional battle. And on paper, it looks like shit. But in the grand scheme of things, it's a big bloody game. If the Colts, after last week knocking off the Bears, can beat the Houston Texans, not only do they tie themselves in first place in the division, they give themselves a really good shot at the playoffs with a couple easy games coming up. And the Texans, banged up defense. A win here with the Colts can put them in a tie for first place. The Texans without 3 of their regular starters on defense. 2 cornerbacks, Jonathan Joseph, Kareem Jackson, are both out with injury, as well as safety Quentin Dempsey. Riding a high from last week with a big win on the road against the Bears, I think Andrew Luck is going to come in. He's going to expose that secondary. He's going to throw that long ball that he's famously known for. And the Colts are going to come out, even as underdogs. You take them at 3.5 points on the plus side, but you drop your money on them at plus 3.5. If you want to sprinkle a little something on the money line, you want to drop a little something on the cake, a little peanut butter on the bagel, you go ahead and do it, because that's the one you're going to get. Indianapolis Colts plus 3.5. Lock it up, put it in the bank, seal the envelope, flip it in. That's the one you got to have.
Yeah.
And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, my 5th pick of the week that's going to make you a few bucks. I hope you're listening. I hope you're watching. The Arizona Cardinals at 2-3 facing off against the New York Jets at 1-4. Before I talk about this game, I want to tell you right now that the New York Jets, not a big fan of them, not a big Fitzpatrick guy, not a big Brandon Marshall guy, not a big Eric Decker guy. But they have had the toughest schedule in the NFL. Already facing 4 teams that were in the playoffs last year who have been predicted to be teams to beat this upcoming season. So that 1-4 record, don't let it fool you, because they have played some tough games. But number one, Carson Palmer is back for the Arizona Cardinals. You don't got big John Stanton in the lineup anymore, fighting the truth, throwing the ball about 30 yards over Larry Fitzgerald's head. You're not going to have that. You got big Carson back in the pocket, sitting there, looking around, looking to make the right play. All right? Now, if you talk about interceptions, and you talk about turnovers in the NFL, and you talk about a player that has the most turnovers or the most interceptions, such as Fitzpatrick, going up against one of the best secondaries in the NFL, which the Arizona Cardinals have, when you mix those two together in a pot, you mix them in a stew, you throw them in a stir fry, you steam them up, that's trouble for the Jets. The Toaster's going to be live. It's going to be rocking, and the Red Sea's going to rise up. Take the Arizona Cardinals on the spread. You heard it here first. And that's going to wrap it up for this week. Those are the 5 picks you got to have. If you want to put some money on them, go ahead and make yourself a couple bucks. If you see me in the bar, send me over a couple cold ones, and I'll be very happy about it because these picks aren't coming for free forever. So sit back, relax, enjoy it because that's the one you got to have. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next week. You got it.